Some trades make headlines, a few shift power across conferences, but every once in a while there's a trade that blows the minds of fans, executives, and even the players involved. These aren't just business decisions, these are the moments that changed NBA history forever. In this deep dive, we're unpacking the most shocking, unexpected, and impactful trades the league has ever seen. Not the rumored ones, not the almost happened deals. These are the ones that actually went down. The trades that reshaped franchises, flipped championship odds, and left legacies in their wake. Let's start with a trade that might go down as one of the most lopsided in modern history: Pau Gasol to the Lakers. In 2008, the Lakers acquired Gasol and a second-round pick in exchange for Kwame Brown, Javaris Crittenton, Aaron McKie, the rights to Mark Gasol, and 2 future first-round picks. At the time, people mocked the Grizzlies. It looked like the Lakers had just been handed a championship. Pau instantly fit alongside Kobe Bryant and helped the team make 3 straight finals appearances, winning 2 rings. But over time, that trade aged a little differently. The throw-in, Mark Gasol, blossomed into one of the best centers in the league. He became a Defensive Player of the Year, a 3-time All-Star, and the cornerstone of the grit-and-grind Grizzlies. So while the trade looked like a robbery at first, it quietly became a rare deal where both teams got long-term value, just in very different ways. Still, the fact that the Lakers got exactly what they needed and won titles makes this trade unforgettable. Another blockbuster that stunned the NBA world was the Raptors trading DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. In 2018, Toronto sent DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a protected first-round pick to San Antonio for Kawhi and Danny Green. Raptors fans were crushed. DeRozan had just pledged his loyalty to the city. He was beloved. Kawhi, meanwhile, had missed almost the entire previous season with injury issues and had no desire to play in Toronto. But the gamble paid off. Kawhi played only 1 season in Toronto, but it was one of the most memorable campaigns in NBA history. He delivered clutch shots, including the first-ever Game 7 buzzer beater in the playoffs against Philadelphia. He led the Raptors past the Bucks and into the finals, where they defeated the injury-ravaged Golden State Warriors to win their first NBA championship. DeRozan, meanwhile, was solid in San Antonio but never reached those same heights. It was a cold-hearted move by Raptors management, but it delivered the ultimate reward. Speaking of teams letting go of stars too early, how about the Thunder trading away James Harden in 2012? Oklahoma City had just reached the NBA Finals with a young core of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. It looked like a dynasty in the making, but the Thunder's ownership didn't want to pay luxury tax. They offered Harden an extension, but when he hesitated, they sent him to the Rockets for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, and 2 first-round picks. Houston gave Harden the keys to the offense, and he exploded into a superstar. Over the next 8 seasons he won MVP, led the league in scoring 3 times, and turned the Rockets into a perennial contender. OKC, on the other hand, never returned to the finals. The Thunder's decision to trade Harden to save money likely cost them multiple championships and altered the balance of power in the West for years to come. It's a textbook example of a front office getting too conservative and paying the price. Let's talk about the end of an era. In 2004, after years of success and tension, the Lakers traded Shaquille O'Neal to the Miami Heat for Lamar Odom, Karen Butler, Brian Grant, and a first-round pick. Shaq and Kobe had just won 3 titles together, but their relationship had deteriorated. After losing in the 2004 finals to the Pistons, the Lakers chose to keep Kobe and trade Shaq. Shaq went to Miami and made an immediate impact. In his second season with Dwyane Wade, the Heat won the 2006 NBA championship. Shaq was still dominant, even in his 30s, and proved he could win without Kobe. The Lakers, meanwhile, struggled in the post-Shaq era. It took several years and a new core, led by Kobe, Pau Gasol, and Andrew Bynum, to return to contender status. The Shaq trade not only ended one of the greatest duos in NBA history, but it sparked debates for years about who truly carried those early 2000s Lakers teams. And speaking of trades that crushed one team and saved another, we have to talk about the infamous Celtics-Nets deal in 2013. The Brooklyn Nets traded 3 future first-round picks, and the right to swap a 4th, to Boston for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and DJ White. Brooklyn thought they were getting veteran leadership to push them over the top. What they got instead was the complete destruction of their future. The Nets won one playoff series with that group. Then they fell apart. The Celtics, on the other hand, used those picks to select Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, two players who would become the foundation of their next great team. It was one of the most one-sided trades in NBA history. Brooklyn tried to shortcut its way to a title and ended up handing another team their future instead. Not every crazy trade ends up being a disaster though. Sometimes it's the ones that don't happen that create just as much chaos. In 2011, Chris Paul was nearly traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in a blockbuster deal involving Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom. But the NBA, which owned the New Orleans Hornets at the time, vetoed the trade. The league said it wasn't in the best interest of the team, sparking massive controversy. Let's go further back to one of the worst draft day trades of all time. In 1987, the Seattle Supersonics drafted Scottie Pippen with the 5th overall pick, and immediately traded him to the Chicago Bulls for Olden Polynice and future picks. The move helped define two completely different legacies. Speaking of draft day nightmares, how about the Bucks trading the rights to Dirk Nowitzki in 1998? Milwaukee selected Dirk with the 9th pick and traded him to the Dallas Mavericks for Robert Traylor. As bad as that was, it still doesn't top the Charlotte Hornets trading away Kobe Bryant. In 1996, Kobe was drafted 13th overall by the Hornets and immediately traded to the Lakers for Vlade Divac. But if we're talking about game-changing trades, nothing comes close to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's move to Los Angeles. In 1975, Kareem requested a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks. He was traded to the Lakers for Elmore Smith, Brian Winters, and 2 rookies. At the time, Kareem was already an MVP and NBA champion. In LA, he added 5 more championships, became the NBA's all-time leading scorer, until LeBron broke the record in 2023, and helped launch the Showtime Lakers dynasty alongside Magic Johnson. It's hard to overstate how massive this trade was for the NBA as a whole. It not only revitalized the Lakers but also helped turn the league into a national and eventually global phenomenon. We've covered the top 10, but there are plenty of honorable mentions that deserve some spotlight. Vince Carter being traded from Toronto to the Nets was another shocking deal. Carter was the face of the Raptors, and his departure hurt fans deeply. But in New Jersey he teamed up with Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson to make deep playoff runs, proving he still had plenty in the tank. Chris Webber being traded from the Bullets to the Kings was a franchise-altering move for Sacramento. Webber became the centerpiece of the greatest show-on-court Kings team that challenged the Lakers in the early 2000s and arguably should have made the finals in 2002. Allen Iverson's trade to the Denver Nuggets in 2006 was another eye-opener. He had spent over a decade in Philadelphia becoming an icon, but when he joined forces with Carmelo Anthony in Denver, the pairing never clicked quite the way fans hoped. Still, seeing AI in a different jersey was surreal. Then you have Russell Westbrook, who has now been traded multiple times in deals that shake up the league every time. From OKC to Houston, then to Washington, then the Lakers, then Utah, then the Clippers. Each time, the trade comes with questions and headlines. Westbrook is a walking blockbuster deal. There are also trades that didn't seem crazy at the time, but aged into insanity. Like when the Pacers traded Kawhi Leonard's draft rights to the Spurs for George Hill. Or when the Celtics traded Joe Johnson to the Suns during his rookie year. Or the Bulls trading LaMarcus Aldridge on draft night for Tyrese Thomas. What all of these moves prove is simple. One trade can define a franchise, sometimes for better, sometimes for much, much worse. These trades weren't just transactions, they were turning points. They shifted narratives, broke fan bases, launched dynasties, and ended careers. They remind us that in the NBA, nothing is guaranteed. Not loyalty, not potential, not even greatness. Front offices are constantly gambling, trying to build a winner, avoid luxury tax penalties, or simply shake things up. But every once in a while, one move becomes legend. So the next time you see a Woj bomb hit your feed, remember, today's breaking news might just be tomorrow's most unforgettable trade. Let us know which trade shocked you the most. Which one changed your view of the NBA forever? And if you could undo one deal, which one would it be? Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive, where we break down the worst free agent signings in NBA history. You won't want to miss that.